OP.24 from OoopusX. Good day, this is Practiphile, and today we're gonna look at the OoopusX. OoopusX. I hope I don't get banned for this. Anyhow, the name of the IEM is OP.24. I don't know what the naming convention is, but I guess this is an IEM from Shenzhen Audio, so thank you so much, Shenzhen Audio, for sending this in for a review. Yay! These are priced around $49. It's a 2DD 4BA IEM, so it is pretty cool. Look at that in there. Look at that, and yeah, enjoy my B-roll because I'm gonna be featuring a lot of the designs in here. I really like the look on this one here. It's like the brain dance with the theme, white, orange, and black, and you know, like futuristic and stuff. It's a very simple unboxing, very small box, doesn't have a carrying case, or does it? Nope, no carrying case, just the cable, the ear tips, and yeah, and that's it. The fit is okay. The cable is also okay for the press. Man, it's $49, man. Like, it falls under my sub $60 category, so it's basically, it's rivaling KZ sets. And let's see how it fares. Fit is actually okay. So what I mean by that is there's really no problem when you're just sitting there listening, but it's different when you're moving. Okay, like I tried this with my drums and I had to readjust my fit because, you know, like when you're playing instruments, you kind of like move your head a lot. So I'm not sure if you can use this on stage. I don't think that's a good idea because of the you know, it just unseals. But yeah, if you're just listening to music, the fit is fine. That is it for the non-audio sound. Let us move on now to its sound profile. Let's see, the graph of this one here looks like that one over there. So these are actually, there are two switches in here. The one going there and there. Yeah, you don't really know what there and there is. I also don't know where I'm at. Oh God, where am I? But anyhow, there's a stock, which is like bass. There's a talk on the bass, and there is like a switch where you elevate the bass. Basically, both of it. So overall tonality, it's actually following Harman 2019. Look at that in there. It's a little bit shouty on the stock. The bass one has an elevated mid bass, which I think fits the signature overall because the Harman 2019 is really shouty in the upper mids. Not the treble, just the upper mids, and because of the talk on the bass, there's really not enough bass to compensate for it. So I feel like the bass version or the bass switch balances the signature more, and I only listen to that configuration. I find the stock one to be really, yeah, it's just overly forward and timbrally wrong for me. So yeah, it's Harman inspired tuning. And as for the bass though, the bass is okay. It's a 2DD IEM. I do feel that the sub bass is really deep in there. It's not as strong as I would want them to be, but hey, it's there. It has good impact. Even if with the bass switch there's an elevation and a mid bass in there, I don't really find it to be muddying up the mids. Mids still sound really clean. What I do find though is there's a little bit of peak in there in the 3K. I mean, the treble and the mids might have really good extension, so on paper it really looks really good, but on listening I kind of probably it's just a treble. The mids, they sound natural, the instruments sound okay, but vocals, especially female vocals, are just a little bit forward. I don't find them particularly shouty with the bass switch, but again, with stock, I just can't listen to them stock. So that's for the mids in there. Now the treble, they may look like they're really having a very good extension in there because it's following the Harman target. Yes and no, because yes, you don't really find any peaks, and no is because I'm not sure if you're really particular on timbre, but you know, like I was playing my drums and it was really good. I was enjoying it until I hit the crash and I'm like, what? What was that? Like, it sounded plasticky. So I don't know if it's the drivers they were using or just the overall tonality that they were going for. It just didn't sound realistic. Honestly, I mean, like, you know, like with this overall thing that I am playing the drums, I kind of like, I'm catching things that I cannot usually catch when I'm just listening to music, if you know what I mean. When I'm listening to music, they may sound okay, but when I try it with my drums and I'm like, what was that? Like, that didn't sound good. And so that was with the treble. It just really felt like it was really odd. The timbre was really odd in there. Technicalities for the price, I think it's decent. There was good imaging in there. Just the timbre really on those cymbals. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just the, you know, like it's 49 bucks. I'm pretty sure they're sourcing out cheaper drivers, right? So I don't know what drivers they're using, but yeah, that is the overall sound of the OP24. And so for the comparisons, what we have here, yeah, what do we have here? How about the Zenith? Because, you know, I said that these are competing with the KZ stuff. So Zenith, wow, look at that. Look at that in there. Okay, yeah, look at that. KZ looking like a boss in here. Like KZ looking like a boss. I'm gonna overlay my balanced target in there. I mean, like, it's the bass version on the OP24 also is following my bass, but look at that. Like, you just know that there is a discrepancy in timbre. You just know. Look at the Zenith is owning it, like timbrely. I also like the Zenith overall. The Zenith just has that 8K peak and done. Just very natural sounding overall. I'd probably pick the Zenith, although the Zenith is more expensive, but hey, it's really up to you. If you want to explore tuning switches that are not really so difficult, because these are like, they're not really yeah, they're switches, but they're not, you need to like use screws or something, so they're much easier to navigate. Yeah, I'd probably choose the Zenith just sound wise because they sound more natural to me. Next one would be for this price range, Blue 2. Let's see, I think the Blue 2 is also following Harman, right there. So as you can see with the Blue 2, it's kind of like, yeah, following the Harman, but it's also like a very tucked bass in there. Let me just overlay what the stock is right there. I think the Blue 2 is more bass prominent overall. There's more fun factor with the Blue 2, and there is more linearity with the OP24. So if you are more into like fun factor and bass, I think you're good to go with the Zero Blue 2. But if you want, I don't even know how I can recommend the OP24. Like, if you want to try Harman, and if you're really sensitive to treble, maybe because like there's really zero peaks in there, maybe you can pick the OP24. What I am surprised though is that the OP24 actually graphs very, very similar to, I think it is a Shenzhen Audio IEM, and it's the IO Sonyo. Yeah, look at that in there. Can you see that? I kind of like have the same impression with the IO Sonyo, because IO Sonyo, how much is this? I think these are priced $399. Man, that's a lot. Looking at this graph, and you can get 95% the sound signature for 49 bucks? That is crazy. So maybe if you've heard of the Sonyo and you feel like you like that kind of signature, you can go for the OP24 without breaking your bank. You know, like this can be your beater set and you're fine with it. But personally though, I mean, it's really okay with music if you're not really particular about cymbal timbre and cymbal accuracy. But for me, it was just, I couldn't help but laugh when I hit that crash. It was like, boink. Like, what? So overall, it is, yeah, I think it's an interesting set. Definitely, I am looking forward to seeing what this company has to offer in the future, because at this price range, I mean, KZ, they've been doing tuning switches, but they do it like in a more intimidating way, like 4 and stuff. Like, you can't do that. You don't have time to do that. With this kind of stuff like bass and stock, it's more manageable, especially for the budding hobbyist. So yeah, I think, I mean, if you like the form factor, consider getting these, the OP24 OoopusX. Don't quote me on that. It's how they are spelled and how, I don't know how you should say it. OoopusX. But yeah, that is for my review on this one here. If you feel my content is helpful, consider liking and subscribing. I am almost reaching 2,000K, so I mean, yeah, it's a milestone for me. Not really paid for this, but anyhow, have a nice day and see you next time.